Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome. My name is Anita, and I extend greetings of peace on behalf of Manhattan Meditation Center and Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center of Brahma Kumaris. We are very glad that you are making the time to be with us on Thursdays. It's like an ongoing party as far as when I'm concerned. Every Thursday we meet. Such a beautiful thing, right? So before we start today's topic, very quickly, new month has started. We are already in October. So the end of 2023 is so near, right? So we have 2-day meditation course coming this Saturday, which is October 7th, and Saturday and Sunday, 7th and 8th. Timings are in the morning from 11 to 12:30. We also have a workshop coming in month of October on October 21st. The topic is building self-respect. Very useful topic, right? Everyone wants to know this. There's one announcement, and you will also receive an email about it. We have published that there'll be a 7-day course starting on October 30th. For unavoidable reasons, we need to postpone that, and the date has moved to November 13th. So you will receive an email, but in case you have registered or something, make a note that the date has moved. We also offer podcast services. We have short meditations on our podcast platform. You can access it through Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcast. Besides all this, we have these Thursday lectures every Thursday. We also have Power Boost online meditation only Monday to Friday at noontime. We also started in-person meditation Monday to Thursday, Sanctuary of Peace. And that is 6 to 6:30. Some of you who have joined us earlier today, you must have noticed that there was a meditation commentary going on. And that is, the 6 to 6:30 Sanctuary of Peace meditation time. And if you prefer, you can join us early. We start the session like around 6:15 or so. But we encourage you to go in person for the 6 to 6:30 meditation at the center. All right, that's as far as the goodies are concerned. So today's topic, alone but not lonely. This is something all of us literally struggle during COVID time, mainly during COVID time. We struggle with this off and on in our daily routines. So on this topic today, Rona Schweitz is going to share her thoughts and take us into the little depth how spirituality sees this and how we can not be lonely. Very warm welcome on behalf of everyone. Thank you so much for.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. And maybe to reiterate, and there was a question I saw on the chat on Zoom, this session is in person also. Not also, the main thing is in person. We additionally provide that people can join on Zoom when they are living far away or in other states. But you are most welcome to come to the center during our opening timings, but also for the Thursday evening talks. Before we start this topic that has become very popular during COVID times, mainly alone, we were all kind of locked down in our houses and our apartments, and even if we were not alone, we were still kind of alone. Just now, someone was sharing with me they were in a 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan with 5 people during the lockdown. So one occupied the bathroom all the time. One occupied the bedroom all the time. One is trying to take walks outside whenever possible. And 2 were on their devices in the living room, which is okay for 1 day, which is okay for 2 days. But this was almost 2 years. Interesting dynamics, no, that life shows us. But before we go into this topic a bit further, maybe we can have a minute of silence. And in that minute, ask yourself, what is the difference between being alone and being lonely? And also ask yourself, how good company am I for myself? Am I good company to myself? Just a minute of silence. Thank you. Was that a long minute? Was that a short minute? Or was it okay? Anyone on Zoom can also open their mic, no? So feel free. So what is the difference between alone and being lonely? Or what are the different differences? Anyone want to say? Go ahead. Jose, can we get a mic so that everyone can hear? What is the difference between being alone?
I would say for myself, being alone and being lonely, I've been lonely around a lot of people. I guess maybe that was in the meditation. I thought it's more like not really feeling in the group, or maybe valid, or it's not necessarily seen, but it was just not, maybe valid might be the word is coming up for me right now.
Mm.
And then being alone is just physically being by yourself. But now that I said it, it's a little different, but that's how I would describe it.
No one else around.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one else around.
Yes.
But lonely can be no one else is around, but can be many around, but you still internally not feel connected. You don't feel valid. Anyone else? Any thoughts? The difference between alone and lonely?
Sister Rona, I will mention. What comes to me when alone is strong identification with body, Varsha. Here, separated. I'm different from other people. I am separate from even Shiv Baba and soul, and it's just very much strong sense of me identifying me being here in this body mind complex.
Mm.
And so that is alone. When not lonely, then there is a sense of fullness within, completeness. There is feeling of like fulfillment combined kind of. There is all I can say is content, be yourself, more contemplative state, peaceful, kind of smiling, not like laughing, kind of happy, but kind of some satisfaction. So content.
Mm.
Now, how good company to myself? The last question.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
I enjoy during the time, as I'm saying, it's really enjoyable. So content, I would say that. No desire to be kind of somebody else should be there kind of thing. If they come, enjoy fully. If they don't come, it's okay. So more again,
Mm.
enjoyable. Thank you.
Very good. Cool. Mm. Can- No, but they can't hear if you're not speaking in the mic.
Hello, this is Valerie. I agree a lot. That resonated a lot with the sister just shared in terms of a state of being alone with a fullness and not necessarily an overwhelming bubbliness, but a contentment and a feeling. It is a spiritual feeling when I'm alone and I don't feel lonely. I live alone and I often feel content being alone.
Mm.
And I find myself sometimes when I'm lonely, I sometimes do get lonely to be with another person, to share a lunch or to go on a walk or just to have human contact. I think as humans, sometimes we do want to have experience with fellow human beings.
Mm.
So I don't know if that's a weak state of mine, but I do know that overall, when I am alone, I feel like I'm pretty good company for myself.
Mm. Very good. Okay. So in all cultures, in all traditions, there are movements where people consciously choose to be alone. I specifically am thinking now about religious traditions where there is, of course, the monastic life and or the sannyas, the recluse type of life where people withdraw from society and from the daily activities of normal human dynamics in terms of work and family and making money and all of that. People withdraw from that to deeply reflect, think, study, and practice some higher aims, some religious aims or some spiritual aims. And in all traditions, there is that part or some of them who live that kind of life and they consciously choose to be alone or within that group that has been withdrawn to be alone. But also in more modern society, the deep thinkers who do not necessarily are religious, but philosophers or the creative people and artists and writers, they also consciously look for a space to be alone and deeply think and be in silence. And in that silence, that creativity and ideas emerge. But also scientists, many scientists work, and especially if you're doing research in certain areas, ideas and observations, they come when there is silence. Silence meaning no distractions, where you're focused. And so that is a form of conscious, chosen aloneness, where there is what is the word? Where there is the aim to have some deeper observations or some deeper inner experiences. And that aloneness in those cases is welcomed. People are searching for it, are looking for it, wanting. The present day, bit more modern forms of these are retreats. People go on retreat. They go on retreat to the Catskill Mountain, or they go on some 10-day silence retreat somewhere in a hut, sit and be to get deeper insights, to get deeper experience, or maybe even to relax and to slow down, to disconnect from the hustle and bustle of New York City or any city. So that is a kind of an aloneness that is desired and chosen with a specific aim. Now, there is also the aloneness that is not chosen consciously. No. And this is what happened to many during COVID. There was this lockdown and you couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't go to work. You couldn't even go to the shop. You were just there with, if there was no one in your apartment but you, then it was just you and your gadgets, which we started to use intensely during that time. And that kind of aloneness can easily lead to feelings of loneliness, because that kind of aloneness makes us aware that we don't know how to be alone, that we don't know to be with ourselves, that we need contact or distraction with activities or with others, and with activities with others to feel something, to feel alive, to feel appreciated, to feel seen, to feel heard. We need that kind of dynamics. And if that is not there, we feel uncomfortable. Now, why is that? How come that we generally have difficulty to be alone? What is it? What is bothering us when we are alone? Because we say, okay, maybe a lack of human interaction, but why is that feeling then there? What is happening with us? We don't accept ourselves. We don't. What happens is when we are alone, we become aware of our own thoughts. We are more focused. Not focused, we are forced to be with our thoughts. And we have learned many things in our life from childhood. We learn to walk, we learn to talk, we learn to interact, we learn to read, we learn to write, we learn to bicycle, we learn to drive a car, we learn many things. But one thing most of us haven't learned. Do you know what that is? We haven't learned how to think. We haven't learned how to talk to ourselves. We haven't learned to be our own best friend. And so when we find ourselves in situations where we have nothing or no one to distract us from our own thoughts, from our own company, it becomes a bit uncomfortable and difficult. And this feeling of loneliness is like a craving for a distraction that is interesting. A craving for a distraction that makes me feel content, or makes me feel loved, or makes me happy, or makes me feel wanted, or makes me feel respected. Because I cannot create internally thoughts and feelings that make me feel content. So I'm looking or wanting from others that they give that to me. Now, sometimes they do. No? Sometimes people are very nice, very gentle, very pleasant company. They listen to you for hours. They talk to you for hours. They tell you what you like to hear. They are good company, they're pleasant company. But sometimes they are not. Isn't it? Sometimes they say things that you don't want to hear. Sometimes they say things that are not so nice. Or sometimes they are just on a completely different wavelength than you. And then we feel what I personally call double lonely. Because you do not like to be with yourself, but you also do not like the people who are there. So you are not good company for yourself, but you're also not in what you would call good company. So then you're lonely. You're double lonely. And this is a very unpleasant space to be in. And many times we don't know what to do. So what do? We just put on the television. Or some movie, some film, or some music to just space out. Get away from my own thoughts and get away from others also. You know what the average amount of time is at present that children watch something, some video, some movie, some game on their gadget. Children means 14 years and under in America. 4 to 5 hours. And during holiday vacation, school vacations, it is tripled. These are children. You can imagine what will happen when they are 30 years old. But this is also for adults. they grew up with it. Some of us might not have grown up with these things, at least not in the amount that it is now. But then we try to fill that double loneliness with some excitement, some entertainment, some external excitements or entertainment. This is why people go on holidays all the time. Some entertainment has to be going on all the time. And in essence, there's nothing necessarily wrong with some entertainment or some educational activity. But if I can't be with myself, and if I also cannot be with others, what kind of life am I leading? And I'm just using YouTube and TikTok and whatever as a substitute. And some people have found a very clever solution. They take a pet and they give all their love and their company to the pet, and the pet keeps them company. But still, there is a difference in thinking level. You can't really share your thoughts with your cat. Well, maybe to some extent, some people feel that they do have that kind of connection, but it is a different level of connection. But it is also a sign that we need to do something inside. So let's go over the board to get a little bit more of a insight in what is going on here. Is it so visible, the board? Okay, so first we will take this aspect of double lonely. But the first one, lonely because we can't be with ourselves. So when this minute silence that we did in the beginning, what were you observing within yourself? What makes it so difficult to not be our own best friend? Negative thoughts, someone here is saying. So it is useful for us to be aware. The proportions may be a little bit funny, but many of us will think of ourselves in terms of our physical appearance. No? Say this is Laura. Laura. So Laura is by herself. There's no job, no school for a little while. And she is in her apartment alone. So what is happening with her? Or what is something that is with her all the time? That are her thoughts. And you know, in cartoons, they draw thoughts, no, with this cloud. So, and this one is symbolic for the mind. No? Laura has a mind. And what is going on in her mind? Fear of the future, blaming thoughts of the past, all kinds of things. But what is going on? She is in the company of her own thoughts. And her thoughts carry with them certain feelings. Feelings and emotions. This is what every thought carries with it a certain vibration, a certain vibe, and a certain atmosphere. So if Laura has many, many thoughts of peace and love, can you see the board? If Laura all the times has thoughts of peace and love, how will she feel? She will feel content. She will feel happy. And her mind will be full with feelings of relaxation, of appreciation, of lightness. She will feel like that. Will she be happy to be alone? She will not have any problem. Will she be happy when someone else is there? Yeah. Someone else is there, someone else is not there. She will still be fine. Because she is fine inside. Will others be happy with her? Not or yes. She is having thoughts of peace and love. Will others be happy in her company? They might feel she is pleasant company. Yeah, she's good company. The chances are they will feel she's a good person, pleasant, she's relaxed. What is it? Cool. She's cool to be with and to be around. Now, if she has thoughts of anger, if she has thoughts of being stressed out, if she has thoughts of maybe not just thoughts, also an attitude of constantly me, I want. If she has these thoughts that this is not good, that is not, complaining all the time, then how will this cloud look? Crowded. It will be very crowded in the mind. What will come out of her mouth? Those same things. What will be coming out of her eyes? Same. And she will look at you thinking, what can you give to me? What will you be worth to me? And if you have nothing what I want, now, will she be happy being with herself? You think so? When she has these thoughts of blame and fear and stress and complaint and desires and demands and expectations and what is it? Complaining about the past. Oh, she will not be happy with herself. Will others be happy in her company? So she will be lonely with herself, and she will be lonely even if there are others. And she will be triple lonely because others will want to be away from her. So she will not only be lonely with herself, she will also be lonely even if there are others around. But there is this extra dimension, others do not want to be with her. And they will try to get away. So it's like triple. Now, who is doing all this? Laura herself. No? Who is in charge of the thoughts in her mind? She is herself. And she can look for someone to blame, but still her mind, still her thoughts. Now, the art of being alone is the art of being good company to yourself. And good company to yourself, you will naturally be good company to others. And then others will want to be with you. Now, when you look at thoughts, you can categorize them. A simple, easy categorizing of thoughts. One category of thoughts are necessary thoughts. I don't know. Do you write it like that? Double S, necessary thoughts? Necessary thoughts are useful thoughts. No, you have to go do groceries. I have an appointment with the dentist. And I have a meditation class this weekend. These are thoughts to organize your day, to organize your life. These are useful thoughts. But then you have a second category, which is the opposite of useful thoughts. Yeah, those are useless thoughts. Useless thoughts. Do you know those thoughts? Have you seen them pass by? Useless thoughts are, for example, repetitive thoughts. I have to do groceries. I have to do groceries. I should get some milk. I have to get milk and bread. I have to get milk and bread. After 10 minutes, I have to get milk and bread. Think about the same thing over and over again. Or milk and bread is still kind of almost like not too bad. Can also be, I hate my boss. I hate my boss. After 2 minutes, again, I hate my boss. Talking with others, I hate my boss, and some gossip going on, and his face constantly is crossing on the screen of your mind. And probably your boss doesn't even know. And even if he knows, he doesn't care. And you are mortifying your inner world with thoughts of hate about your boss. So the question then is, where do these useless thoughts lead to? What do these useless thoughts do with you? Yeah, they contaminate your mind, but also they make you tired. And they make you feel useless too. Because what have I been doing the whole day? Just having useless thoughts. That makes you feel pretty useless. Yeah. Now, useless thoughts, what also happens, they lead to negative or destructive thoughts. Because if you're having all these useless thoughts and if you're having all these useless feelings, you become tired, become exhausted also. The sharpness, the creativity, the entertainment of your thoughts, the enthusiasm that you have, it all dies down and you get tired. Tired not necessarily because you did anything, tired just because you were thinking uselessly. And we can get pretty exhausted by that. No? And easily that leads to anger, to irritability, to violence. It leads to what is it? Vengeance. It leads to fear and deeper anxieties, destructive thoughts. Now there are few other categories of thoughts. And one is positive or constructive thoughts. Now, thoughts of, instead of focusing on the problem, you're focusing on the solution. Instead of seeing what is wrong with someone, you see what is good about someone. Instead of focusing on what you did wrong, you focus on what you did right. You know, in a day, sometimes we do more than 100 things, 100 different things. Now you take shower, put on clothes, you make some food, you meet people, more than 100 things. One thing you didn't do good. 99 things you did good. One thing you didn't do good. What will torment your mind? That one thing that you didn't go. Such is the condition of our mind at present. That we have created that state where we are fixated on that one thing that didn't go well. Positive attitude, positive constructive thinking is you consciously choose thoughts that are uplifting. Consciously choose thoughts that are focusing on solution. Consciously choosing thoughts that are adding. Am I saying this right? Adding to it all. You know, they say, no, the glass is half full or half empty. And sometimes I ask this question, what is this? And then people say, this is skin, this is tendons, this is a hand, this is blood, flesh, but it is also a miracle. So this mind that has created the tendency to approach things with a positive perspective and a positive view, that mind will see miracle. This mind, negative, destructive, will see problem everywhere. Go to the subway, and even going to the subway, they're complaining about the subway. Positive mind will think, subway is a miracle. Do you feel like that? Sometimes. It is a man-made miracle. It is amazing. In Manhattan, there are like so many levels where people function. And the subway network. This is an amazing system. Millions of people get transported there. Amazing. One thing goes wrong and blow it up, everybody's scared. But millions of people go back and forth all the time. A mind that has this approach will see the miracle. You don't ignore what is not right, but you don't get fixated on that. You see the wonder of things. If your mind is like this, will you be happy with yourself? You will feel light all the time. You don't need nothing and nobody to feel good. Because this is your internal state of mind and attitude. Will you be lonely? If you're alone or if you're with other people, if you are with other people and you can't connect, you will still be okay. You're with others with whom you can connect. That's very nice. What kind of mind do you have? You don't have to answer. This is just a question for yourself. What we have observed within ourselves, but also when talking to people, at this moment in time, still the majority of the thoughts that people have fall in this category. But they lean towards this. Now, if this is going on in your mind, what is it that will come out of your mouth? Similar, no? What will be the quality of your actions? It will reflect what is going on here. What will be the quality of your interaction? It will be a reflection of what is going on here. Now, for the majority of us, because this is like a habit, it is habitual at the moment. To break this habit, we need to consciously choose to have different kinds of thoughts. Consciously, we have to observe, check ourselves, observe, and change. Check, observe, change. COC. Check, observe, and change. This is your power. And nobody can use this power but you. But you need to exercise this power. You need to use this power. Check, observe, change. Check and observe is kind of similar, but there is another category of thoughts, and those are spiritual thoughts. These are thoughts about the spiritual dimension of self and of life. And these are the kinds of thoughts you consciously create in meditation to shift away from all of this and even transcend the positive or constructive thinking to more spiritual thinking, to hold a spiritual mindset and a spiritual perspective on self and on life. Now, what are spiritual thoughts? A simple example of spiritual thoughts is understanding who is truly the real self. Normally, when we think of ourselves, we think, I am this body. I am a female. I come from Indonesian mixed European background. I have studied here. This is my job. This is my mother, father. These are my friends. Normally, we think of ourselves based on our physical appearance and the things we have and the people we have around us. But who is the being? There are these two words, no? Human being. Human, okay, agreed. Body and the things around the body, but who is the being? Who is the one who is making this mouth speak? Who is the one who is creating thoughts? Who is the one who is experiencing the emotions? Who is the one who is experiencing even the bodily sensations? Who is that one who came into the mother's womb, into this tiny embryo, body grown, comes out of the mother's womb? Who is making this body move? That being is the real self, the soul, the invisible experiencer the being of consciousness, the real self. This being, the real self, the real I, transcends the characteristics of the body. The body is, in this case, this body is, how do you call this? Brown. Body is female, but the soul is a being of light. Doesn't belong to any specific race, doesn't male or female or any gender. It is a characteristic of the body. But the being transcends those limitations. The body has a beginning and the body has a end, expiry date. The soul transcends beginning and end of the body. The soul is like a guest in the body. We have come at some stage, and at some stage we will leave again. These are spiritual thoughts. The real self is an immortal being of consciousness, timeless, eternal, a traveler through time and space. There is this physical dimension and there is a non-physical dimension. And the real self, the being, is non-physical. And we interact through this body in this world of matter. But I am a non-physical being. Innately peaceful, innately loving, innately pure, innately innocent and clean and free, innately joyful. These are spiritual thoughts. Now, to enjoy being alone and not be lonely, with or without other people, it becomes clear with what I should or could fill the mind. But there is another function within the psyche, which is called the intellect. And the intellect, you could say, is our wisdom, is our common sense, our ability to discern. And we need a wise and a strong intellect to guide the mind. And to tell this mind, look, these thoughts are absolutely useless. Stop this. I'm going to choose other thoughts. Part of a spiritual journey is to strengthen your intellect. Strengthen your wisdom, strengthen your common sense, strengthen your power to discern, strengthen your mental powers to guide this mind. And like we have mentioned before, thoughts lead to feelings, lead to emotions, lead to a certain attitude, leads to a certain vision also, your outlook, and thoughts leads to words also. And thoughts connected with words and all these things here also, they lead to your actions. And the quality of your action decides the quality of your interactions. But your thoughts are like seeds for all of these. Anyone want to say anything? You want to say anything? Question?
The element that comes up for me is outside forces, other people, thoughts or actions interrupting that beautiful part
Yeah.
that we all want to reach
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Is that, how do you identify that element,
yeah.
or what do you do with that element?
Yeah. There are it is only two things, no? Either I influence or I am influenced. And so if the peacelessness of someone else is overpowering me, it means my peace is not strong enough to overpower their peacelessness, which is useful to realize. If someone's peacelessness is overpowering me, it means my peace is not strong enough to overpower their peacelessness. Either I am influenced or I influence. But at least I should have the power build up to not be influenced by their peacelessness, to hold the thoughts and the peace within. Can you say in the mic?
So in that context, I'm wondering, sometimes we are in the position of managing others in the family or in the work, where we cannot observe others' peacelessness in an indifferent way, right? We have to take actions.
Yeah.
So when do we need to take action, and when do we decide that, you know, I'll be content with my own peace?
First of all, I have to decide, am I in a position to do something about it? Because sometimes you are not in a position to do anything about it. And if you're not in a position to do anything about it, then don't waste your time, but protect yourself. And most of the time, the deciding power to act is, would my action make a difference in a positive way? And of course, if there is danger involved, physical danger or mental danger for myself, for that person, or for others, then I have to find ways to act or to take an action that can shift things around. But let my actions not come from anger or from peacelessness, but from love, from the willingness to bring harmony for all involved. But first I have to decide, am I in a position to bring any change? Because I might not be. And if I am peaceless and if I are angry, then that is not the right basis to ask, to act. But it is a very nice victory, a very sweet victory, when I can silently build up my own peace and silently build up the peace in the atmosphere. And then silently, maybe even make the other peaceful. And all of that I can do.
So can peace, my peace, can ever be taken advantage of?
Peace doesn't mean I am, what is it? Peaceful doesn't mean I'm inactive. Peace doesn't mean I am naive. I can still take action. I can even say no, but with peace. I can even correct, but coming from a space of peace. When there is no selfish desire, when there is no ego behind, but for the benefit of everyone involved, I can say no, this is not right. Sometimes you have to let things play out also. Let everybody learn their own lessons. Okay, time is
Okay.
past.
One more question? One more?
Actually, it is 7:33.
Be quit.
Let's be, well, we're not sticking to the time anyway already. We're already over, but let's not go over too much. Let's close with a few minutes of observing your mind and practice this power of steering your thoughts. So just for a few moments, allow the body to be relaxed and comfortable. And become aware of this inner function of the mind, where different thoughts emerge. It is a subtle function, so we need to kind of refine our ability to perceive this and to be more aware of our thoughts and not be a slave to the thoughts, not be subservient to any thought that just pop up. No, it's your mind. And you can choose. Just teach your mind gently, kindly, what to think and what not to think. Any situation, there is always a lesson that can be learned. Any interactions, there is always something good about it. And if I want to take it a step further, I can just think of the real self, the higher being, the soul that is me. Imperishable, invisible, timeless, and free. A being of light, a being of peace. One who is a guest in this body, guest on this planet. And we can use the image of a tiny star sitting in the center of the forehead behind the eyes. Pure, free, timeless, living light. This is the real self. And as we go through the rest of the journey, we can aim to hold this awareness of being the observer of life, being this invisible, silent traveler. Enjoying my own company and enjoying the company of whoever else is around. Thank you. Thank you for your attention, for your participation, and special thanks for those who are in person, special thanks for those who are on Zoom, and a special invitation for those who are on Zoom to come in person also.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
This weekend,
Shanti.
just as a reminder, Anita had mentioned it in the beginning, but in this weekend, there is a 2-day meditation course where we go into the basics of meditation and several meditation practices at 11, Saturday at 11 and Sunday at 11. Okay. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.